All right, ladies and gentlemen, true believers and all other kinds, forms, or natures that may be enjoying this broadcast today. First, I'll start off by saying that I have word that maybe Mr. McGrath himself will be joining us afterwards, a little bit later in the program. Hopefully he does stop by if he gets back in time, and so on and so forth. We'll save the glories and the glorious niceties and whatnot for when he shows up. And yes, I am the one and only Eric of the lovely family, and this is the one and only Wide Awake News. I want to welcome all of you here from Rents Radio Network, from the chat room, everybody over there. If you want to go over to the chat room, pop over to Wide Awake News, click on the big microphone, and join all the fine men and women in that section and in that chat room so that you guys can back and forth and talk about things and issues. And hopefully we try to stay a little on topic. There are many things that I want to go over today, and I'm frantically looking for a particular video. And if anyone has actually seen it, or if anyone, the video that I'm particularly talking about, there could be one of two ways for you to find it. There is, you either do a Judge Andrew Napolitano, or you could go to T-Mont, who was a Ron Paul supporter. He's actually running for office and spending time running for office. And he actually made a link and a commentary video to the particular video that I want everyone to see. Now, many people want to argue with me about many things. About the fact that Abraham Lincoln was a tyrant and a dirtbag. About, Adams, one of the original founding fathers who was friends with none other than Thomas Jefferson himself. However, they were adamantly different mindset. One was a Federalist and one was an anti-Federalist. Thomas Jefferson was the anti-Federalist, just in case you're wondering or don't know what that means. You were taught in school, well, before we get down to that venture, actually, we'll commingle it. You see, I'm watching my daughter go through AP Government. And we're dealing with some topics and some things that she's coming up with. And everything that the teacher is basically notes that she's taking off the internet is so far-fetched, so insane, or would be insane to anyone who actually knows, understands history, and understands the Constitution. Kids are presently being told that our founding fathers had to choose between equality and liberty, which is one of the most insane ideas that any thinking individual could possibly come up. The reason why is because there is no way for me to enforce equality on the back end. I can only make a situation where everyone starts equal, and then they reap what they sow. This is the idea of the Constitution. All things are fair in love and war, and we all start out at a very equal point. We all have the same trials and tribulations, food, shelter, love, all of these different things. Every human being experiences these, and every human being has to go through the process of getting these for themselves. If you make piss-poor decisions, it is not my job to steal from someone else to make up for your moron factor. But the liberal, the progressive, they really should put Marxists on the end. Liberal Marxists, progressive Marxists, Republican Marxists, Democrat Marxists. So that you know which section of the Marxist realm you're dealing with. But these individuals are attempting to put information into your children's head, like the information that would be put into your child's head that the government somehow has a way to interject influence and power over the economy. Well, the only thing they can do is regulate to keep markets regular and balance the value of the currency. That is their only two jobs. They have no other way of impacting the economy. They have no power to do so according to the Constitution. However, this school lesson is not the most important thing that I want you to know. As I can frantically find, it's about 36 minutes. Now, you won't be able to watch it while we're on the air. But if you go over to T-Mont, and you go over to his webpage, and there is an actual title that says, Judge Andrew Napolitano should drop dead, and something about Glenn Beck in the title as well. Now, just so that you understand, the video is about him ranting about the inadequate intellectual ability for human beings to watch a particular video, to make this particular video go viral, and so on and so forth, when Fuzzy Cat Moron videos get millions of views. That is the precursor of his video, so do not be alarmed by the title. However, pass it around to your friends, because you will find that Judge Andrew Napolitano, in this 36-minute and 48-second speech, ironclad, has agreed with everything that I have told you for decades. He calls Abraham Lincoln out, shows you, talks specifically about Abraham Lincoln kicking down doors and doing away with the writ of habeas corpus. About Abraham Lincoln writing his individual minions in the field, writing their own search warrants approved by no one. No one but themselves. He tells you completely and breaks down the reasons within this speech as to how we've come full circle. Not only full circle, but we are further down the road of tyranny than under the king. Now, many people like to argue with me. They want to take pot shots at me. Why don't you try Judge Andrew Napolitano on for a size? And see how well you deal with this. In today's day and age, no matter where you go or what you encounter is a financial institution. Doesn't matter. From the person you pay to rub your feet and your back, to the individual that serves you your food, to the people who handle and control your money, to your job, to anywhere. I'm not even sure that under the new guidelines, we can't claim that the yard man mowing your grass for $10 isn't a financial institution. I'm not real sure I could make that argument under the new guidelines. I'd say about 90%, I would have to say, under these guidelines, under the laws today, that your gardener is a financial institution. You exchange currency for goods and services, which therefore makes it a financial institution, because everything is defined as being on the back of Wall Street. So that if it interacts with it in any way, shape, or form, it can be considered a financial institution. So the only place left in America where the Fourth Amendment exists, oh wait, we forgot about the NDAA. So not even in your home does the Fourth Amendment apply. Nowhere. There is absolutely not a spot within the borders that you call the United States that it has any claim to the Fourth Amendment, to the right to privacy in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. Period. End of story. Not even a little. And you know, this amazes me in an outrage. It really brings on rage. Because the idea, you know, in one of Max Kaiser's recent videos, he pointed out clearly that the admitted actions of individuals from large corporations were treason. And he even pointed out on camera, not afraid, to say in the old days, we would have arrested these people and executed them for treason. And then he provided a whole slew of derogatory remarks about Americans and where the American spirit had gone and what he thinks of the American spirit. Well, I'll try not to repeat those. But I will tell you that he has given you, he said a lot of the same things that I have said over time. Things that make people angry. You're picking on me. Imagine, you are further along than when you see the Magna Carta. If you don't have any idea about history whatsoever, In 1215, a king to quell uprise, to quell a rebellion, which they were going to chop off his head and roll it down the street and find themselves a new king. If he didn't sign the Magna Carta, and the main number one thing was the right to habeas corpus. That's how long that idea has been around. Our forefathers didn't even come up with it. They wholeheartedly agreed with it, but it was the Magna Carta, the French, these individuals who forced it into the light of day in 1215. Do you realize that there have been 4 presidents, 3 presidents really, to take away the right to habeas corpus? Did you know that? Do you know who the first one was? His name was Adams. The Alien Sedition Act? You could go ahead and research that. The second president who thought he had the power to do anything he wanted, and he did away with your right to a speedy and fair trial. Just ask the reporters that he shot. Ask the reporters and individuals and business owners who went to concentration camps. Just ask the senators, 2 of them, who during the Civil War were seized, arrested, and exiled to Canada for the duration of the war. That's Abraham Lincoln. Actually, there is a 4th. Look at World War II. Now, it wasn't just for everyone that habeas corpus was removed. This is the reason why I excluded the first 2, and I'm kind of wishy-washy, because Adams only applied the removal of habeas corpus to those who disagreed with him. So it wasn't everybody. As long as you agreed with him, you had the right to habeas corpus. The Japanese citizens, it was based on ethnicity. You did not get habeas corpus because you were of Japanese descent. So it wasn't a complete abolishment of habeas corpus. However, we allowed them to do such a thing, therefore that made it legal to them. Well, Mr. Barack Hussein Obama, the self-appointed king, and if you don't think so, you just go listen to his last message. And anyone brave enough to want to challenge the ideas put forth here, feel free. It's 877-342-6673. Even if you agree, feel free to call in, voice your opinion and your concern, because simply by saying, 1, I don't need to wait for Congress. 2, I have a pen. 3, I have a phone. 4, I can just write executive orders. Barack Hussein Obama committed treason right in front of everybody on TV. Treason to the original Constitution. He is knowingly, willingly, and proclaiming that he is greater than Congress, that he can write any law he so chooses by executive order, and that he can just simply go around them because if he writes an executive order, there's no vote that can overturn it because he'll simply veto it. Now, I don't know what's eventually going to motivate the sloth that calls himself a U.S. citizen. I have no idea what is going to motivate individuals to do anything about the topics that I'm talking about. Because People don't care. You ever notice that the people that, that they want to sit around, they want to hogwash, they want to go wishy-washy. Oh, well, we got to prep. We got to inform more people. We got to reach out to those people because this is the info war. They go on and on and on about how spreading information is important and blah, blah, blah. And then they're arrested. Their homes being taken. Their children are being taken away. Their right to freedom, as in, i.e., not being in jail, is taken away from them. Their right to free speech is taken from them. Oh, God, it's the end of the world. They're ranting and raving. They got a donation page up on Facebook, Twitter, Google, Foogaladoogle, and whatever other website you can think of. They got a big fat donation button down there. Oh, join my law team. Save my house. Save my baby. Then they're all about it. Then they can't get enough. They're all about revolution then and beating down the man. Their friends all jump in. This is an atrocity. They're such a great person. Please help us. Donate. Let me get on the radio and tell my story 38 billion times to other people just like me who didn't give a shit in the first place, just like me. Just quit crying. I'm tired of hearing it. There are several sob stories I could go into. You know what? They don't get any of my airtime. I don't care. I don't care about your house. I don't care about whatever you've lost because you didn't care yesterday before it happened. You were damning other people. You were complete on inactivity. You had another care in the world because I got to prep. I got to store up my victuals and I got to get me some rice and beans and I'll make videos and I'll educate the masses. And, that's how we're going to resist. That's what's going to make it all better. And one by one, they drop like flies. One by one, they're arrested. They're found in some infraction. Anytime you can make enough noise, they'll step on you. And all the people who talked real nice with you in the neighborhood, and all the individuals who talked real nice to you on the website, and all the thumbs up you got on your videos, won't matter a damn. Oh, I'm sure people will be saying $10, $15, $20, $30. They're not actually going to do anything. They're going to write you a big, long speech on your Facebook page about how they feel for you and how what's going on to you is horrible and how they're praying for you every night and they're going to send you $10 and really hope it helps you out. Ooh, we're going to call into a radio show. We'll help you out real good. We'll call into a radio show and we'll tell your sob story for you. We'll try and get you some coverage. It seems anymore to me, the only thing anybody's about is ratings. Who said what to who? Who am I so excited to hear? Who tells me a little bit of truth about, oh, there's bad stuff going on out there, but you're going to be okay. I'm going to give you the bright, shiny report. I'm going to blow smoke up your crack and make you feel better about yourself. I mean, seriously? There are some of us who are waging daily aggression, verbally and physically, against the man. I don't really know who the man is who's at the top, so I just have to say the man. Everybody under the man is like the president, the Congress, all those douchebags. Those aren't the man. Those are the man's street minions. The policeman is the lowest form. The president might be the highest form of street thug. Well, for all intents and purposes, for the life of me, I cannot figure out this cycle. People continue to it's the stuff in the water. You go to get in a politician's face and have a conversation. You go to have a conversation with a police officer. Where is everybody? 20 feet behind you, hiding behind a bush. We'll be right back after these messages. Just data points that are completely useless and stupid, trivial data points. My daughter went to school in this AP government class. She asked a question because they told her we have the right to the freedom of speech and the freedom of assembly and the right to protest. So she asked a question. Well, how come the police beat everyone up? How come they taser pregnant ladies? How come they taser people to death and beat them down and corral them? What are all those police with all those big body armor and things on for? And the teacher said, well, it's because, most of them are nonviolent, but somebody bumps into a cop and it just gets out of control. That was the basic response that this, at minimum of master's degree, moron is telling my child. The insanity, the contradiction upon contradiction that is implied. They literally told her that it was a representative democracy. They're no longer even telling the students that it's a constitutional democracy. They're just calling it a representative democracy. The word republic was said at some point in the conversation, but there was no definition given for it. The definition that is to be assumed is that a republic is a representative democracy. That's like saying a canine is a Siamese cat. So astronomically, polarly different. They're complete polar opposites. A constitutional republic based on the individual is just that. It means the rule of law favors the individual and the inalienable rights of that individual, given them to by them by birth or creation. A representative democracy means I elect people to go up there and fight for 51% so I get my way. It just literally surprises me. It really disgusts me. Yeah, I tell you what, everybody wants me to say bad things about media outlets and media personalities and all of these different outlets that get on the radio and peddle some type of something to make money and to make a living and so on and so forth. Well, really, they're just opportunists taking part in the opportunity that you have provided them. You don't understand what that means? You don't do anything to solve the situation. So there's a plethora of sad sob stories for them to continue to slap on the internet for you to go boo-hoo and donate $5. And they can just do it over and 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 over. Because nothing changes. The ideas laid out by our forefathers in the Constitution, if you physically go past the Constitution and you read the statements, you read the entire minutes. Do you know what minutes are? Minutes are where you have a giant meeting of some kind and some individual or group of individuals through straight hand, shorthand, typewriter, recording, whatever, records every word that is said aloud on paper. If you want to know what the Constitution means, go read the minutes of the actual conventions and be damned with all these textbooks. Be damned with the stupid judges and their moron interpretations. If you want to know what the Constitution is based on, if you want to know what the people thought when they wrote the damn thing on paper, when they agreed to the Bill of Rights, go read what they had to say. Everybody reads the Federalist Papers. Every single idiot who goes on to any type of college that has any history background or law background or whatever, or AP classes in government, you're eventually handed these stupid pieces of paper known as the Federalist Papers. And they say, oh, this is it right here. This is it. Oh, yeah. By Madison. Adams was one of the biggest Federalists that there were. They believed that the only way to secure any of your rights was have this giant, enormous, all-encompassing federal central power. It's communist. The Anti-Federalists were winning up until Abraham Lincoln. Have you ever read the Anti-Federalist paper? Do you even know what the argument is between Federalist centralized power and dispersed power amongst the citizens? Everything I've ever told you, everything I've ever espoused, every idea, well, about the original writings, comes from this source. Because these were the people who voted on it, who stood up in front of everyone, who talked about it, had everything written down, and then they signed it. But instead of going and listening to what they have to say, you'll listen to some moron with a textbook. You'll listen to some moron who sits behind his podium. You'll listen to some moron on TV. I approve this message. And you argue. You'll do nothing. You know, at the time of the conventions and the situations that were going on, there were still factions within the conventions that were threatening to kill everyone. Why? Because they were overlooking their rights. They weren't including them as free people. Many arguments broke out. Many of the conventions became violent at certain times. Do you have any idea that this is the real history? You ever heard any of this in a classroom? And let me pose another question. Let me also pose a question to the anti-gun people. Let me pose it to all kinds of people. First Amendment squad, the Second Amendment squad, the Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Sixth, 10th Amendment, 10thers, whatever you want to call yourselves. People who think they believe in the Constitution. So let me pose this out here to you. Your gold and your silver is defended by guns and bombs and big angry people who know how to use these things. Your legal documents, your court papers, titles, deeds, these things are protected by people with guns. Your politicians, your presidents, vice president, congressmen, these people are protected by people with guns, bombs, murder, death, kill. But your children and your rights aren't important enough to be protected with guns and bombs and motivated people. Why is that? Where's the disconnect? I don't understand why people have difficulty with the words that come out of my mouth. I don't understand why they feel so bad about their situation. They look in the mirror and they turn it into hatred for the individual who is shedding the light on the putrid existence that they have. Because that's what they hate. It's okay if they have no rights. We'll be right back after these messages.
Scientists in England have succeeded in stabilizing the time-honored substance in garlic that destroys harmful bacteria, viruses, molds, yeast, and fungus. This all-natural microbe killer is called Allicin C, and it's now available to you in 100% vegetarian capsules only on the New Earth page at rense.com. This powerful broad-spectrum antimicrobial agent is harmless to friendly bacteria and has been concentrated to equal an astonishing 35 cloves of garlic in each vegetarian capsule. Think about it. The antibacterial, antiviral strength of 35 odorless cloves of garlic in just one capsule. Allicin C is so effective it even destroys superbug MRSA in test after test. Allicin C is truly an incredible advance in natural medicine, and with the threats of bacterial and viral diseases and pandemics growing, no home should be without it. Learn more and order Allicin C on the New Earth page at rense.com.
Charlie McGrath of WideAwakeNews.com here with a question from my friends at Austin Rare Coins and Bullion. What do they know that we don't? Insiders and a who's who list of elite have made it crystal clear that we are headed for catastrophe, putting out warning after warning, urging people to batten down the hatches. Billionaire George Soros has recently been dumping stocks and at the same time acquiring millions in gold. In fact, in a recent interview, he was quoted as saying, "I'm not here to cheer you up. The situation is as serious and difficult as I've experienced in my career." Out of control government deficit spending and a Federal Reserve that's only solution seems to be print more fiat currency will lead to a weaker dollar and massive inflation on necessity items such as energy and food. If you have wealth to protect, please visit my friends at Austin Rare Coins and Bullion. Gabe Elton and the folks at Austin Rare Coins and Bullion have many Wide Awake News customers because they're honest, they're fair, and they won't sell you paper promises or product they do not have. Call Gabe Elton at 800-552-4109. That number again, 800-552-4109, or visit them online at austincoins.com.
Make a promise, take a vow. Trust your feelings, it's easy now. Understand the voice within and feel a change already beginning.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the last segment of Wide Awake News here on the Rense Radio Network. I've ranted fairly solid now for the first long segment, the first second half segment. And I'm still, I don't exactly know what to tell people. I don't know where to tell you this is going to shake out. I can tell you those who are listening, those who actually understand the principles, those who are willing to do the legwork, those who are willing to go out, who physically purchased Black's Law dictionaries, who have physically, or borrowed them, that's okay too, and read them, who have went out and gotten themselves PDF files of the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers. Those who have went and downloaded the physical convention notes or minutes of the Convention of the Many States. Those who have looked into history and have a grasp on the Constitution. Those who aren't afraid to walk out of their house and get in someone's face, even if they're wearing a tin-plated badge on their chest. Those individuals are much closer. We are attempting to make waves. But everybody else is telling us to stop. If you do not resist, you will gain nothing. All of your fears will happen. They will separate and divide you into small groups, and they will butcher you. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you think you have some super plan. I don't care about any of that nonsense. I will continue this thought, but I do have a caller, so we're going to jump right over, and we're going to talk to Randy today on the Wide Awake News.
Hello, my friend.
How are you, Randy? You need to turn your speakers down so I don't hear myself.
Okay. Is that better?
Much better.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to see how we could gameplay this because, you know, I've certainly listened and read to the Anti-Federalists, and I personally love Free Man from Pennsylvania, where I happen to come from, and I just, you know, I don't know where to begin because I you know, opted out, you know, following some of Martin Luther's parallel systems of always keeping up resistance, developing your own economy, and not relying on their system. But separate of maybe being like a Gordon Call who just, you know, went to battle with the sheriffs, I don't know where to begin because, you know, it's not just, you know, being willing to give up your life. It's, you know, also just war theory where, you know, if we draw first blood, you know, we may be vilifying the general public and not win enough support.
So let me see. The dead people from Waco, the situation at Ruby Ridge, the countless number of veterans that have been shot here at home over the past 2 decades, the homeless people that have been beaten to death or murdered, the fathers of children who have been tasered to death. How much blood do you require as first blood? How many homes do we give up? How many people do we give up before we actually say, well, you know, they're actually killing people? At what point? Because I hear this argument. I do. I seriously hear this argument all the time, Randy, and it's not to pick on you, but this is the question I ask everybody. Do you even know in your brain how many people have already died? How much blood has already been spilled? We're killing 1.2 million babies through abortion every single year. How many dead bodies does it take?
I just heard that number, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm willing to give my life, but, you know, I think the important question is how to win. You know, if you're willing to kill for the Constitution, I don't want to die because that'd be pretty much defeating the purpose of life, liberty, and property. I want to defend those things.
Well, you know, there are many, many, many people who have said this line, and many people who there's actually a few that continue to quote the same people. But back in the day, Jefferson and Franklin were making statements. And Franklin asked, well, are you willing to die for your freedoms? And the public responded with, well, yes, an astounding, profounding, just ginormous, uncontrollable yes. And Thomas Jefferson stepped up and said, are you willing to kill for it? But this is the ultimate question. This is where the metal meets the meat.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Cox.
I can tell you right now, by the way, I can tell you how to win this easily. They know I know because I'm a strategist. It's what I do. There are many strategists who sit around and tell you. You extend their battle lines out across a large, diverse terrain territory. You attack their supply lines and cripple the frontline forces, cutting off their firepower from the front lines. They no longer have any gas. It's a man-on-man war now with regular old machine guns versus regular old machine guns, and you have them outnumbered 300-1. This is not a hard equation. You start out by rallying your local militia groups. You go down to the courthouses. You go down to all of the government facilities and you simply shut them down. You don't go to D.C. You go right in your own state. You shut them down. You shut all tax flow going to the federal government. You shut down in your community all use of Federal Reserve notes. You shut down all courtrooms. You take the judges, you arrest them. You find actual constitutionally minded individuals who have completely studied like the things that I've talked about, and those are who you elect to replace them, and you start anew. If the federal government comes into your local town, your county, your area to do something, if he sends the governor, then you deal with them in kind. This is the reality. That's why when I ask people about resisting, how much resisting are we actually doing? We shop in their stores. We use their money. We obey their boot-licking police officers. We kowtow. We bow down. Don't notice me. Look at the guy beside me. I'm okay. I'm keeping my nose clean. I duly and greatly appreciate the call, Randy, and it is not a personal endeavor to attack your position or your idea, and I don't think that I did. I am just a bit passionate about this, and the answers are easily in front of people's faces, and the arguments that you have are the same ones presented to me by everyone.
No, I took it the right way.
I greatly appreciate the call and hope that you continue to listen and feel free to call in again.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you're at. You know, how many people, how many mothers have to sit crying about the injustices that befall their husband and their children? How many husbands have to sit and cry about, police officers, they take warrants, they kick in doors, they shoot children in the head, and they don't go to the electric chair. They kill your dogs. Oops, I'm sorry we invaded the wrong house and shot your 71-year-old grandma and grandpa for trying to defend their home. I'm sorry we shot them 68 times. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to sue you, and I'm going to get me some Federal Reserve notes. And 5 months from now, that bully, that disgusting piece of trash who killed them, is right back out there on the street, right back to wearing his badge, ready to kill someone else. One bad guy, one police officer who went bad, ex-Navy guy, citywide manhunt, shot 13 people, the police did. Killed 3. None of them were this man. None of them are going to prison. None of them are getting the needle. None of them are riding the lightning. And you tell me, well, but there's good ones out there. Really? The good one would have rolled up and shot those 3. That's what a good cop would have done. He would have arrested them right on the spot. He would have handcuffed them and beat them down. Children riding around on a piece of wood with round things on the bottom, called a skateboard, get choke slammed by 300-pound police officers into the concrete. How much blood and treasure? How much blood and treasure? Do you just not care about the people who got shot? Is it because they're not related to you? Is it because they don't live in your house? They don't live in your neighborhood? Is it because they don't believe in the same God you do? Is it because they don't have the same skin color as you? Is it because they don't live on the same side of the tracks? What, they don't come from the right background? What is it? What is it you're so hung up on that makes these deaths unimportant? You have a collusion and collaboration between the federal government and Big Pharma. Look up the numbers and see how many people Big Pharma kill every single year. Is that not blood and treasure? Do those people not count? Are they not important? I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree with certain people. Humans aren't all that bright. Though they're bright, they've lost empathy. It's been bred out of you. Sympathy, bred out of you. You want everyone to have it for you. But no one seems to have it for someone else. Is it worthwhile to do something? Man, let me tell you, even if it gets you in a point where you don't get to go home at the end of the day, you'll feel amazing. The joy of knowing you did the right thing is simply almost overwhelming. In the face of all despair, You can look them in the eye, and you go out of this world with self-respect. You go out of this world with dignity. And everyone else around you knows it. And it's almost like a disease. It sparks a flame that can be unquelled. Think about these things. Until next time.
One could be me. Do you see the soldiers that are out today? They brush the dust with bulletproof vests away. It's ironic at times like this you pray, but a bomb blew the mosque up yesterday. There's bombs on the buses, bikes, roads, inside your market, your shops, your clothes. My dad, he's got a lot of fear, I know, but enough pride inside not to let that show. My brother had a book he would hold with pride, a little red cover with a broken spine on the back. He hand wrote a quote inside: when the rich wage war, it's the poor who die. Meanwhile, the leader just talks away, stuttering and mumbling the nightly news that would play. The rest of the world watching at the end of the day, both scared and angry, like what did he say?
Oxygen. It's nature's oldest therapy and plays an essential role in destroying viruses, bacteria, mold, yeast, and fungus, and keeping the human body healthy and strong. Now, you can give your body and your immune system a mega boost of disease-fighting oxygen with all-natural Oxy-C. With so many people now leading a sedentary indoor lifestyle, most are in a chronic state of oxygen deprivation, which sets up a perfect environment for disease, general fatigue, and a host of other symptoms. Oxy-C is yours in simple, convenient capsules. Nothing to mix, nothing to hassle with. Take it with juice or water anytime. Feel a cold or flu approaching? Have no energy or spark anymore? Try all-natural Oxy-C and prepare to be amazed. Oxy-C is only available from New Earth Health Solutions at rinse.com. Look for the New Earth banner at rinse.com.
In 2007, one man, Mike Dillard, made 5 predictions which forecasted the 2008 economic crisis and the pending Eurozone collapse. 3 brand new, shocking, must-watch videos with predictions for the coming year. www.the3videos.com. Over the past year, Mike Dillard has helped thousands of ordinary people create and recover wealth by tapping into the black box investing strategies the big banks don't want you to know about. www.the3videos.com. As the European banking system implodes and governments collapse at breakneck speeds, the next 12 months will be the most anticipated and important months in modern human history. This will make 2008 look like a walk in the park. Everyone will be affected. Go to www.the3videos.com now. Learn how to prepare your family and prosper during the global financial collapse.
You're listening to the Rinse Radio Network, nationwide and worldwide on the net and at rinse.com.